Hey guys, this is Ryan and Jennifer Bell from Pegwarmers, and we are doing our second unboxing video.
Numero dos.
Woo! And today we're going to do the Star Wars movie realization, Boba Fett and Sandtrooper.
Yeah.
Which were supposed to be birthday presents for the month of September, but our good friends at the destination had an awesome sale going on. We thought it was awesome that they decided to stock these guys in the first place, and it's been very difficult to keep our hands off them until now. So
I also may have spoiled the birthday surprise.
all right, so now why they actually started watching these videos.
You need your X-Acto knife in very girly colors like mine.
All right, we're doing...
So first of all, these boxes are gorgeous. I don't know if you can tell, but they're flat. It's like matte black. Really, really smooth, but it's not crazy glossy despite the little shine of the video in there. Figures look awesome. So this is the Sandtrooper. Notice the orange pauldron and also the bigger kind of industrial Japanese rifle of the kind of Civil War era kind of stuff. It's just super slick. This is the back of the box there. You can see the Vader and also the others. Are they just this one? This is the Sandtrooper here, but then right here is the Stormtrooper. So notice the Stormtrooper has the small E11 blaster variant of the old school rifles, and as you can also see that the Stormtrooper or the Sandtrooper here also has a backpack, just like the old Sandtroopers in the movie. So pretty cool.
I'm kind of surprised they didn't show. You know, for inbox collectors, like, you can't see the figure at all. Do you know?
Yeah, no, that's an interesting point. This isn't SH Figuarts, which usually does a clear plastic window. Now, what this does remind me of with SH Figuarts are exclusives, Tamashii Web exclusives, con exclusives. I don't know if you guys might remember the SH Figuarts Shadow Trooper. That was a Tamashii Nations exclusive just to that show, and it's a black case with the Stormtrooper helmet. That's it. So if you're an inbox collector, that's actually pretty boring. The nice thing is at least you get a really great picture of the figure. Admittedly, yeah, it's not the picture or the figure in, physically. But that's also why being an inbox collector sometimes is got its challenges. So, but yeah, I think the box looks awesome. If I wasn't as pumped for the figure as I would be, I think the box might actually be, it's really snazzy, and I'm going to keep it, of course. But yeah, so it's its own thing. Tamashii Nations and Bandai logo down here. You also got the movie realization in the Japanese that I have no idea of up there. Great Star Wars logo. Pretty uneventful side box. However, pretty cool. Disney. It's still fun to keep finding that on stuff, but
I wish there were hidden Mickey ears.
I know. So that's the Sandtrooper. Why don't you hand me the? We're also gonna do the Boba Fett. Also looking really slick on the front there, very Ronin-like, which is also what they called him. They said Ronin Boba Fett here on the side with the Disney logo as well. Yeah, this says.
What do they call him?
Teppo Ashigaru. Feel free to leave a comment if you know what that actually means. I should look it up later.
Probably should look it up.
Should have probably asked my friend Ben what it means. But very, very stylized, very cool. I love the shadowing, how you can see only like half of his face. I just think it's awesome. He looks really, really boss. He does look like a Ronin samurai to me, like a lot. And that's the really attractive part. And then the back, you get to see him doing some cool poses. I'm excited to see the differences between these two because the Sandtrooper and other Trooper variants are fairly plain armor. But even as you can see here in this picture, Boba Fett on his shins, just like a Ronin, like a bounty hunter, is kind of armed to the teeth with a whole bunch of junk. And you can see all the little knives and daggers and throwing, kunai that he gets, as well as his blaster in an old school style, and then it looks like more like a short Tano kind of style katana, but pretty slick. Okay, we're going to start with the Sandtrooper. And like I said, feminine colors or not, you can use whatever.
It's blue. It's a boy color.
Yeah.
Probably not baby blue though.
The baby blue and like lime green. I don't care. It's super comfy. It's way better than the like cold hard metal Exactos. Anyway, so it's just got 2 little pieces of tape here and here, and slide it off.
There it goes. Oh my goodness. It's
So
so cool.
got a little black and white instruction sheet. For those of you who are very familiar with figure arts, it's the very useless. It's very similar to the figure arts, so there you
Oh
go.
goodness. This is the inside of the box.
Yeah, put that up there pretty close. Long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Pretty
Too
neat.
funny, yeah.
So this is still slick. Like you could even display it inside that. I don't know. But here it is. Here's the figure in its box with the plastic tray that it's in. It's also got a plastic cover over it, so that's not actually, you know, the light's reflecting off that plastic front there. Just gonna kind of slide it up out of there. Is there a booklet in there or anything? Nothing? Nope, just padding, plain box. So it comes like this, really great. Pop it off, there's a little space here for your thumb or something. Always be careful opening these because all the accessories can pop. Yeah. Yeah, I don't lost anything. They just go flying for a little bit.
Lost is a strong word.
Yes, it is.
Temporarily misplaced. Oh my goodness.
It's so pretty! Alright.
He's so cool.
He's great. So, here's the figure just straight out of the packaging. It's got some of this plastic to keep some of this this armor bits from scraping up the paint, so you can just kind of pull those off. There's usually a little, just kind of stretch it. Yeah. I look like I'm being rougher than I am, but I'm not. Trust me, you'll be okay.
The inbox collectors are
everyone
collectively
that's
having a heart attack.
Yeah. The paint is fantastic. This video is not going to do any justice to it, but you can maybe see it's not pearl, like super fancy white. They clearly made it more of an eggshell color to elicit the Sandtrooper, being out in the desert motif. And then there's a lot of great weathering and just filling in some of the. You can see how dark and cool.
And that's such a contrast after like getting Marvel Legends, even that like all these little creases and little dots are both textured and painted.
Yeah, the pauldron's actually a really great example. It's not just painted flat orange. There's actually there's paint sitting in the lines and the crevices there.
Because anymore, when you buy a figure that's not figure arts, you're having to do additional painting to take advantage of that molding.
Right. The problem with a lot of figures nowadays, even figure arts, the Super Saiyan, or the trunks that just came out, the armored future trunks that came out recently, pretty much identical mold to the Vegeta and other stuff, except with some taller thighs and legs. Almost no paint, just such a little paint. I've not painted any figure arts yet, but I touched up with some Gundam markers on my trunks, and it looks 5 million times better. That's just how little paint they have on some of these figures now. And you're paying $40-50 a pop for some of these figures that are highly articulated and really nice, but then have no paint. It's just not okay. Paint at that level doesn't save much money, but you can definitely tell there's a lot of care that went into this, a lot of thoughtful paint. I imagine it's probably hand painted by a whole bunch of people, and it shows. It looks great. Even another good example is, look, you can see how great you can see the sculpt on these pads here. It's because of the paint. If it was just flat white, in the color that it was sculpted in or molded in, and there was no paint attachments on there, you'd barely notice in a video of this quality, what was there. So we're going to walk through some of the accessories and then pose them up a little bit and show them off. So first, what we got here is, like we mentioned on the back. Yeah, Jennifer, you can play with them. Got the cool backpack. Very steampunk looking, which is what we would say it's steampunk, but it's just trying to get kind of the steam engine feel of that kind of industrialization of Japan era. Pretty cool. I love the almost Russian. I don't even know what to call that little shape there, but it's very slick. Looks like it's made out of iron. Pretty cool. You also have, oh, he's got 2 guns. So he's got this big hand cannon. Pretty crazy.
You're not supposed to point it down at people unless you're firing.
Well, I was pointing it at the screen. So. But this thing's really cool. Really does just look like a giant hand cannon. It's great. Kind of reminiscent of the big cannons that they walked around the desert with. They also have this cool smaller cannon, which is really great. I don't know if you can see. There's the Imperial symbol.
Oh, that's awesome.
Right there. Kind of just fantastic sculpted in there. I also love there's these dots. I should get another figure and show. But this looks like one of the rifles they carry. It's got the little holes there on there. And it's really slick.
Yeah, I want to see that.
You want to see the Imperial logo?
Yeah, because that's a little stuff like in the Star Wars universe itself. They include all those little details, so it's really neat to see a figure that kind of reflects that.
And even
attention.
Even both of these have some fantastic paint wash on them. They're not just molded in the brown. It looks like they're molded in brown. The silver looks to be painted on, and then there's a wash on top of that makes it look a little antique-y. Very slick. And then one of my favorite bits, he's got a one of my favorite bits, he's got a great sword. Looking little sword. Very good thickness for a toy. Swords are hard. And then the other thing is that it's got a little scabbard. Pretty plain, very plain scabbard, nothing on that whatsoever. The sword looks great. Cool little cross guard hilt thing, and then here's the hilt, yeah. Nice wrapping. Again, lots of great paint.
It doesn't plug in.
Best part is, I think, nope. Oh, does it not do it?
Oh, that's surprising.
I think I'm just, nope, operator error.
There you go.
Goes in and out. That's awesome. I love when swords and guns work with their holsters and scabbards and stuff.
I know, that's oddly rare. Like, if you're lucky, you'll get like a scabbard with a hilt molded into it, so you can like pose it.
Or a little sword that has the blade cut off here, so you just put the top in. That's the Super Saiyan or the Futures Trunks that Figuarts has. That's what they do. Is they just give you an alternate hilt, which is a broken blade, and you can put it on there. It's like just finished molding out the inside of the. It's just saving on plastic, so this looks great.
Yeah.
I'm just having a hard time doing it while I'm sitting here. But yeah, that looks going there. It looks really great.
Does it slide in there?
Oh yeah, sure. So he's got right here. He's got a little clip, and you can just take the scabbard, slide it in there like that.
Very cool.
I think it probably actually goes the other way.
Yeah, probably. Oh, that looks great.
Yeah, like that. My only complaint about this figure right now is this is excellent. This sword going in the scabbard. Why sculpt this? You can't see it, but I'll show you. He's got a little Tano on his waist. Okay? It's just sculpted. It's not actually, doesn't actually come out. It's not actually a little blade, which is really sad. Because it looks fantastic. And they've got the thermal detonator on the back and stuff, but I know the Vader has the same thing and it doesn't come out. That's my only complaint. And I can't, yeah, right. But as Liz Lemon tells us.
Yes.
I can have it all.
She can have it all, though.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. The only other thing that it comes with is a whole bunch of hands, probably mostly for holding all the stuff. This looks like a sword grippy hand. I'm not going to bore you with all the hands. There's a whole bunch of hands. Let's see. Here you go. Is that the droid we're looking for? Hands? So anyway, we're gonna pose this guy up and show him off a little. I do actually want to talk to you about the hands just a little bit more. So you get the 2 fists that he comes with originally, just on there. You get 2 trigger finger hands, one for each side. You get 2 sword-holding hands that look like this. And then, like I said, the little pointer hands is actually, it's more so for kind of holding the cannon, kind of like, like this or whatever. So again, here's the cannon, which we can show on here later with some pictures. It's just huge. It's not easy to just have him pose really quick with it. So he'll be able to get his hand over this narrow end, but then again, that's where the resting hand kind of comes in for that. So very slick. But here you go. Get him all geared up. He's got his rifle on, his sword in its sheath. The backpack fits very snugly, but also moves. So if there's ever any articulation issues, it goes like that. We're going to save articulation for both the figures. They're so similar. We're going to save articulation for the end when comparing the 2 figures, because I imagine they're very similar, but maybe just a couple of different sculpting things that get in the way. So that's him. He looks fantastic. Love him. I love the orange pauldron. Very slick. Ashley's going to be very jealous. All right, so we're going to set him over here really quick, and we're going to go on to the Boba Fett. So again, here's the Ronin Boba Fett. Very masculine or whatever else. X-Acto knife. Cut the tape on the sides.
Do you need me to use the X-Acto knife? Keep your manhead.
I'm not worried about it.
Okay.
Same thing, kind of just lift the box up once you cut the tape off. It will pull off pretty quick. Again, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Very slick. Another little packet of doy kind of information. And then here is Ronin Boba Fett in package. So, for as you were saying with inbox collecting, if you don't like the artwork on the front, this is pretty sturdy. It will sit just fine on a level surface. Now, this whole black tray comes out of the box like that. But if you like how this looks, inbox collectors, and it didn't spoil it cutting the tape. I know that can be like a sacred act. So if that didn't spoil cutting the tape, if you want to actually display it like this, it's still pristine, unopened. You know what I mean? So let's pull him up out of here. Very cool. I did forget to mention he comes with his backpack. That's pretty neat. Again, the kind of thumb slots on the head here for the figure, but that's where you can start pulling off the cover tray. He's got a ton of hands. All right. Oh, here he is with right out of the box here with his plastic still on him. So he's got some plastic on the little cape. Pull that just slides right off. He's got plastic around his waist. Oh, he's got plastic on. He's got the little cords, little bounty hunter cords that he has before. Just slide that right off. And then by the little skirt armor, he's got a bunch of plastic. Keep paint from rubbing. Oh, and some plastic on the cords on the front. Again, you can just kind of pull this off. Trust me, it looks rougher than it is. All right. Let's get that bow-legged stance out of him. So there you go. Very cool, very basic. I love the colors. It's all the same colors. Actually looks like Return of the Jedi, kind of the darker green. Mm-hmm. But it's probably meant to kind of walk the line between the two. I love the colors. I think they look great. Now you notice on his feet, like I said, there's going to be a whole bunch of stuff on there. Nothing is packaged on there, but in the package you can see they've got a whole separate little individual tray within the tray with just all the little kunai and daggers and stuff. But man, I love the colors. He looks great.
He seems like he has a lot more detail than like his armor bits are just more unique. I mean, even with this and even his like shins and his. Sure,
yeah, you're highlighting the fact that like just this kind of stuff, there's just more on it. That's what I love about this line. It's really cool. It costs a little bit more, but you see there's a spot for a dagger to go there, kind of like the little rocket that he shoots off his wrist. I imagine this is supposed to look a little bit more like the flamethrower or something. They're not afraid to do individual sculpts. We'll compare the two, but even just looking at them, there's not a whole lot of similarity. Now, these are two very different. Now, the Stormtrooper and the Sandtrooper probably have a lot of shared pieces, but that just makes sense and saves you, the collector, money, and allows Bandai and Tamashii Nations to make more figures. So you shouldn't complain about that. However, doesn't look like they shared a ton of pieces. They probably outside of the joints. That's about it. Otherwise, it's all new stuff. Looks really great, and I like it a lot. On the artwork, yeah, his little scanner there.
Oh, that's great.
Comes down. It's pretty slick. Well, yeah, let's look at some of his So first he gets his stylized blaster. Very slick looking. Again, kind of molded in that brown, but then the brown and the silver, not only do the brown has some wash on it, and then the silver is painted silver, also has some wash on it. So, oh, and the barrel itself is kind of a blue steel. I know this video quality is not going to do any justice to it there, but blue steel is kind of cool. Backpack. This is interesting. This looks more like Jango's backpack. It doesn't have as much of the colors that I would expect it to have, but it's very solid. Looks really great. Missiles not removable.
Don't try too hard.
I gave it a quick tuck. Similar to the Sandtrooper, get a little sword and scabbard. This is a lot shorter. The handle looks, the hilt looks very similar, and the crossguard looks very similar. I don't know if you can see the little 2 pins. It's exactly like the Sandtrooper. So this is probably where they're sharing parts and saving some money. I imagine this is probably very similar to one of the other figures. I don't know if this Stormtrooper has 2 swords, but if he does, it's probably a long sword that came with the Sandtrooper and the short one. And then again, little scabbard. Whoop. It's cool. The scabbard is green, very dark, forest green, and kind of red-brown wrap on the handle. And then the little diamonds there are green too, so it's really cool. Whole bunch of hands. We can talk more about those later. And a whole bunch of knives and daggers, which I will show off once we put them all on the figure. For right now, they are going to get lost if I don't do that. So Jennifer looks at me knowing that's exactly what happens. All right, so here you go, guys. We're gonna load this guy up and come back to you and show him off to you, and also compare the Sandtrooper and see how the articulation looks between the two. I think it's going to be really similar. And all right, we're back. We've got Boba Fett all loaded up. He looks really great. He's got his backpack on with the little cape thing there. He's got his rifle in hand. Looks really slick. Also, I don't know if you noticed, I know this is hard to tell, the little scouter scope thing. It's got a couple bits of red on there. It's really cool. I love it. Not canon kind of thing, but really slick. Here are his shins all loaded up.
Oh my goodness.
Very slick.
So cool.
He's got 2 on his right shin. He's got 3. He's got two knives on both legs, and on this left leg here, he's got a little one-shot. It looks almost like a Derringer little one-shot pistol thing. I also will say, I initially, when going to put those on, was going to look just at the box art. And then I may have bashed the little instructions, but they actually were very helpful. They had specific diagrams for exactly which blade goes where. Now, my only complaint about it was a couple of them were hard to get on, and I wasn't trying to push too hard. The clips are a little softer plastic, which is nice, but also makes me worry that over time they might get loose. So, unfortunately, my suggestion is going to be to leave those in there when you get them in there. It might be really fun to keep pulling them out and putting them in the hands for those of you who like to play with your toys like I do, like Jennifer and I do, but be careful. Over time, repeated use, I imagine they're going to soften up. However, a couple of them were really hard to get in, and so maybe that's the reason why they were a little tighter, because they anticipate that. So, it's entirely possible. It looks really great. My only real complaint, well, first of all, great Mandalorian symbol on the shoulder. But as you can see, this kind of doesn't sit. It's molded really funky. It's not soft goods. It's plastic. It's softer plastic, but it's still plastic. It gets in the way of the sword, okay? and the backpack. And it also has this annoying feature. Oh, well, it's not going to do. But the shoulder pad pops off pretty easy. It's just got a little socket there to go into the ball. You can see there. And then the cape there just sets over it. And when I was moving it around trying to figure out where to put it, it knocked off the pauldron a couple of times. So goes right back on, really great, snaps right back on. However, it just was a little annoying when it popped off once or twice when I was putting stuff on. So looks really great. Now let's look at the Sandtrooper and him together. I did, intentionally put them both holding their guns, looking real cool. He comes with a lot of the same hands too, very similar, and he actually comes with a couple that are pretty close, fisted, but not fisted for the blades. Namely, that one. It's not closed. You can still hold stuff, so pretty cool. Again, so if you want to put the kunai and knives and stuff in there, you can. But they look great. They're very similar in height and everything else. We'll show some quick comparison pictures between some of the figure arts and the Black Series by Hasbro and the figure arts by Bandai. Now these, I believe, are 7-inch scale figures. So a little bigger. That's one reason why I avoided them for a little bit. I'm in a 6-inch and 1/12 scale. Now figure arts and stuff is 1/12, which is more of a true 6-inch scale, so it's a little smaller. The DC icons are running at a true 6-inch scale, so they're smaller, but they look really great with figure arts. And Marvel Legends, Hasbro Black Series, that kind of stuff is a 6-inch scale, but it's not true. So what that basically means is they're a little blown up. So they're usually a little bigger. Now I've noticed that some of the Black Series figures are a little smaller at times, and they just vary a lot. And that's why a lot of people wish it was a true 6-inch line so that it stayed a little more honest. But because the bigger guys get bigger sometimes, and it's fine with me. But it actually makes me excited to have these guys. They might fit pretty well with my Black Series. They're not going to look as good with my SH figure arts because they're going to look like Hulks. They're going to look like absolute giants. But as far as articulation goes, we haven't really talked about it all that much. Both very similar. They've got decent amount of articulation at the hip there. It's just on some kind of ball joint. I'm not going to go up his skirt too much. But with the Sandtrooper, he's got this little bit. It's soft for plastic, but it's also glued onto his thigh here. Boba Fett also has some stuff here that's glued on with these patches, or these little pooches here are stuck on there. That's connected to the thighs, which is actually pretty nice because it looks like it's free moving, and it moves fine with his thighs, but it allows this little separate skirt armor piece to be separate and move really well too. Got double hinge knees, can do that all the way. Good ball ankle. There might be a little bit of pivot that you can make on there, but not a whole lot. So it can go in and out like that a little bit. Side to side, not so much. Weird thing is no toe joint. It's just a foot. There's no toe joint here. You're not going to get him in any deep poses like that. However, with him, he's got a very flat front of his foot, of his boot, so you might be able to get him to go like that. On the arms, they've got good range here. They can get up and down. The shoulder pads really don't get in the way all that much. They're small enough. They worked them out pretty well. There seems to be some bicep swivel, but it's very tight, and I don't trust it at the moment. So there's not a whole bunch of bicep swivel, but the kind of socket that it's on up here, it allows it to kind of flex, go in and out. And so I think you'll be able to make some good poses in there. But unfortunately, because there isn't a great bicep swivel, you can't rub his belly and hold the rifle right there too good yet. I might be wrong on that. But he's got double jointed elbows. He's got, as far as the wrists, they go up and down. And then they're on a little ball here. And then even if you lock it in, they swivel too. So really great hands up. But you can see there's just a little ball joint. Just sets on. I'm going to do this from not a mile away. Boop. Pops on there really good. Yeah, the pauldrons are just on there with a little ball joint, very much like Boba Fett. So they show all that. Head moves really well, up and down, side to side. Actually, one of the better parts, the head and the neck joint there. Also on the Sandtrooper here, get a cool little articulated chin skirt. It's pretty slick. And the backpacks, they flow around like this. Doesn't have it's not on a ball joint or anything, but it just spins around and moves freely like that. So pretty good articulation all in all, considering how armored up these figures are. It's really great. Now that bicep swivel is killing me. I hate lack of bicep swivel. And then even the ankle pivot, it's there. It's there. It's just not as clean as some other figures. So great figure there. And Boba Fett has all the same, double hinge foot stuff, double hinged elbow, all that. And he doesn't seem to have anything different. He's actually just missing that chin thing there, but he doesn't have one, so that doesn't happen. But he's still got that scanner thing there, so it looks great. And his backpack sits on there and swivels around just as much. So, all right, so here are these figures, and I'm just going to show you. I'm going to put Boba Fett down and show you Sandtrooper. I don't have any Sandtrooper Black Series. If you want to hold it over there. I don't have any Sandtrooper Black Series or figure arts. I haven't made a Sandtrooper figure arts yet. But let me show you here. Here is the SH Figure Arts First Order Stormtrooper. So you can see he's supremely bigger. Good half a head, if not more, taller. So he looks a little gargantuan. But, it's not meant to be in the same scale, so that's going to happen. I hate it when other reviewers compare Marvel Legends and SH Figure Arts, Captain America's or Iron Man, and the figure arts are smaller. It's a different scale, guys, so don't try to I'm really sad that this SH Figure Arts doesn't fit my Marvel Legends. It's not meant to be, so deal with it. And here is a Black Series First Order Stormtrooper. Again, actually, he's pretty tall. So now the First Order Stormtroopers, I wish I had a Sandtrooper Black Series. I don't. Some generous soul wants to let me have one. Well, I'll show some comparison pictures. But he's a bit taller than this too. So I might not have them in the exact same spot on my shelves, but I think it looks great still. So again, these are pretty big figures. They might be more like 8-inch scale. So there you go, guys. So here is the movie realization Sandtrooper and movie realization Ronin Boba Fett. And so thankful for the Destination having a great sale, able to pick these guys up at a good price. Feel free to check out other places. Go check your local comic book store. Encourage them to have this kind of stuff. So thanks Destination for carrying this kind of stuff. Also, make sure to check out a couple of our friends here. I'll make sure these bad boys don't fall. Oh, look at that. Check out our friends Eric Groovely and Nick Roby over here. And their artwork. We'll have some stuff, again, in the description below, as well as some links to the Destination and our podcast, which we've recently just been knocking it out. So why don't you guys check that out. Thanks for spending some time with us here looking at these great figures.